Picture this. You are sitting at your kitchen table, scrolling through real estate listings online, wondering how regular people buy properties when it already feels impossible to save enough money. You look at those beautiful homes and think that real estate investing is something only wealthy people can do. But here's the twist. The people who grow wealthy through real estate often start with nothing more than a basic plan, a small amount of cash, and the right beginner strategy. And today, you are going to learn that strategy. You're also going to discover one thing beginners do that silently destroys their chance of ever owning an investment property. I'll reveal that part later, so stay with me. Real estate is one of the most powerful wealth-building tools in America. It has created more millionaires than almost any other investment. Yet most beginners never take the first step because they think they need too much money, too much experience, or too much time. The truth is, you can start small, start simple, and start smart. And by the end of this video, you will know exactly how to take that first step. Number 1, understand what real estate investing really means. Before you buy anything, you need to understand what it actually means to invest in real estate. Many beginners imagine fixing up ugly houses, renting out apartments, or buying vacation properties. But real estate investing simply means buying a property that produces income or increases in value over time. Here's a simple example. Imagine you buy a small rental home for $150,000. You rent it out for more money than your monthly expenses. That difference is your cash flow. Over time, the value of the house rises. That increase is your appreciation. And while these things happen, your tenant is helping pay down your loan. That is building equity. 3 ways to earn, all from one property. That is why real estate is so powerful. But beginners often jump in without understanding the basics. They buy a home based on emotions instead of numbers. They buy in a bad location, or they take on a property that needs too much work. Understanding these basics protects you from those mistakes. Number 2, know the different ways beginners can invest.
Most beginners think real estate is only about buying a house. But there are several beginner-friendly strategies, and choosing the right one can make the entire journey easier. One example is buying a simple single-family rental. This is the most common beginner strategy. You buy a house, rent it out, and collect monthly cash flow. It is simple, predictable, and easy to manage. Another example is house hacking. This means living in one part of a property and renting out the other. For example, you could buy a duplex, live in one side, and rent the other side. The rent can cover most or even all of your mortgage. Another option is buying a small condo or townhome. These are usually cheaper and easier to maintain. Many beginners start with this because they do not want to deal with yard work or major repairs. And here's a surprising one. You do not always have to buy physical property. Some beginners start with real estate investment trusts. These allow you to invest in real estate without owning a house. But the downside is that you do not get the same tax benefits or control. Your strategy will shape everything that comes next, so choosing carefully matters. Number 3, understand how much money you actually need. This is the part that scares most beginners. They think they need hundreds of thousands of dollars, but you do not. Here's an example. Many first-time investors use loans that require only a small down payment, sometimes as little as 3% for certain owner-occupied loans. If you buy a $200,000 property, 3% is just $6,000. Yes, you still need closing costs, inspection fees, and some emergency savings, but the total amount is far lower than most people imagine. Another example. House hacking often allows you to buy with lower down payments because you are living in the property. This is one of the cheapest ways to start investing. But here's the real secret most beginners do not know. You do not need to save the full down payment through your job alone. Many investors start by using bonuses, tax refunds, side hustle income, or selling old items. The key is stacking small amounts over time. Later in this video, I will tell you the biggest financial mistake beginners make when preparing to buy. Avoiding that mistake can save you thousands. Number 4, learn how to analyze a property. Investing in real estate is not about guessing. It is about using simple math to avoid expensive mistakes. Here is the most basic formula. Take your expected rent and subtract your total expenses. This includes your mortgage, taxes, insurance, maintenance, vacancy, and property management, if you plan to hire one. If the property earns more than it costs, that is positive cash flow. If it costs more than it earns, it is negative cash flow. Here's an example. You find a property that rents for $1,500 per month. Your total expenses equal $1,300. That leaves you with $200 cash flow every month. If you own multiple properties like this, that cash flow becomes real income. Another example. A property might look nice from the outside, but if the numbers do not work, it is not a good investment, no matter how beautiful it is. It is better to buy an ugly house with great numbers than a beautiful house with terrible numbers. Number 5. Pick the right location. You can fix a house, but you cannot fix its location. Location impacts rent, property value, and long-term demand. Here's a simple example. A house in a safe neighborhood near schools and shops usually attracts stable tenants. That reduces vacancy and increases your cash flow. Another example. A property near a large employer or college often stays rented year-round because people constantly move in and out. Beginners sometimes make the mistake of buying the cheapest house in a bad area, thinking they found a bargain. But cheap rent, high tenant turnover, or dangerous neighborhoods can cost far more in the long run. Choosing the right location is one of the most important decisions you will make. Number 6. Build your real estate team. You should not do everything alone. Successful beginners rely on a team of helpful people, even if the team is small at first. Key members include a real estate agent, a lender, an inspector, and sometimes a property manager. Here's an example. A good agent can guide you to areas that are growing, not shrinking. They can help you avoid overpriced deals and negotiate better terms. A lender helps you understand your loan options, interest rates, down payments, and monthly costs. This saves you from financial surprises.
An inspector protects you from buying a property with hidden problems. Imagine finding out the roof needs replacing after you buy the house. An inspector helps you avoid that nightmare. You do not need a big team. You just need the right people. Number 7. Secure financing the smart way. Your loan can make or break your deal. Understanding your financing options helps you choose the most affordable path. One option is a conventional loan. These usually require higher credit and higher down payments. Another option is an FHA loan, which allows you to buy a property with as little as 3% down if you live in it. Another example is a VA loan for military service members. These can require $0 down. The type of loan you choose depends on your situation, your goals, and whether you plan to live in the property. But here is the part many beginners overlook. The lower your credit score, the more you pay in interest over time. That can cost you thousands. Improving your credit even slightly before applying can make a huge difference. Number 8. Start with a simple first property. Your first investment does not need to be fancy or perfect. It just needs to be a property that is easy to manage. Here is an example. A small 3-bedroom home in a stable neighborhood is often easier than a large multi-unit property that needs constant repairs. Another example. A condo with a homeowners association may handle exterior maintenance, saving you time and stress. Beginners sometimes choose complicated properties because they want high returns, but your first property should teach you the basics with as little stress as possible. Simple is safer for beginners. Number 9. Manage your property like a business. Real estate investing is not a hobby, it is a business, and running it like a business helps you avoid problems later. This means setting clear rules for tenants, keeping good records, staying on top of repairs, and planning for expenses. Here is an example. Instead of avoiding maintenance and creating bigger problems, smart investors fix things quickly. A small leak today can become a major repair next month. Another example. Good communication with tenants keeps them happy and reduces turnover. A tenant who stays longer saves you money.
You can manage the property yourself or hire a manager. Either choice is fine, as long as you treat it like a business. Number 10. Avoid the beginner trap that destroys most investors. Earlier, I mentioned a common mistake that ruins beginner investors. Here it is. They buy a property without enough savings. They put every dollar into the down payment and leave nothing for emergencies. Example: the water heater fails, or the tenant moves out unexpectedly, or a repair pops up. Without savings, beginners panic, take on debt, or lose the property entirely. A good rule is to keep at least 3 to 6 months of expenses saved before buying. That safety cushion protects your investment and your peace of mind. Number 11. Create a long-term real estate plan. Real estate is not a quick win. It is a long-term wealth-building strategy. Here is an example. If you buy one property every 2 years, in 10 years, you could own 5 rental homes. Each home could provide cash flow, appreciation, and equity. Another example. Many investors eventually use the equity from one property to buy another. This helps you grow without needing large savings each time. Your long-term plan does not need to be complicated. It just needs to be clear. Number 12. Learn how to calculate your break-even point. Before buying a property, you must know the moment when the rental finally pays for itself. This is called your break-even point. It helps you understand how long it will take before your investment becomes profitable. Here is an example. Suppose your total buying costs equal to $10,000. If your property produces $200 in monthly cash flow, divide $10,000 by 200. It will take about 50 months to recover your initial investment. That is your break-even point. This simple calculation prevents you from buying deals that take too long to become profitable or never become profitable at all. Number 13. Understand the power of appreciation. Appreciation is when a property increases in value over time. You cannot control it fully, but you can influence it by choosing the right area or improving the home. Example: a $180,000 house increases to $210,000 in 5 years. That is $30,000 gained simply by owning the property. Another example. If you upgrade a kitchen or bathroom, you are adding value that raises the property price and even increases the rent. Most beginners focus only on monthly cash flow, but appreciation often becomes the largest wealth builder in the long run. Number 14. Know what cash-on-cash return means. Cash-on-cash return shows you how much profit you earn compared to how much money you actually invested. It tells you whether your money is working efficiently. For example, you invest $20,000 into a rental property. After all expenses, the property produces $3,000 per year. Divide 3,000 by 20,000. That equals to a 15% return. This metric helps you compare different properties and choose the one that grows your money faster. Number 15. Start with markets you understand. You do not need to buy property across the country as a beginner. Start with areas you know well. This helps you judge neighborhoods accurately and avoid surprises. For example, if you grew up in a certain city, you may already know which streets are safe, which areas attract renters, and which parts are growing. Another example, a beginner who buys in a familiar area can easily visit the property, meet contractors, or resolve issues without spending time traveling. Knowledge of the local market is one of the most underrated beginner advantages. Number 16. Use simple renovations to increase value. You do not need to do full remodels to boost rent or property value. Small, targeted improvements create big results. For example, a fresh coat of paint, new lighting, or updated cabinet handles can make an older home feel modern. Another example, adding a washer and dryer often allows you to charge higher rent because tenants love convenience. Beginners should stick to renovations that are cheap, fast, and impactful. Number 17. Understand the seasonal rental cycle. Renting a property is easier during certain parts of the year. Families prefer moving during summer. Students look for places before a new semester. Winter months often have lower demand. For example, listing a rental in June may give you more applicants and higher rent than listing the same property in December. Knowing the seasonal cycle reduces vacancy and improves your cash flow. Number 18. Learn to separate personal feelings from investment. Many beginners treat their first investment like their personal home. They buy based on emotions instead of numbers. That is a dangerous mistake. Example: you might fall in love with a beautiful property that drains your cash every month. Meanwhile, a boring property with great numbers could build your wealth faster. Successful investors pick properties that perform well, not properties that simply look good. Number 19. Prepare for common tenant scenarios. You do not need to be afraid of tenants. You just need to be prepared for the usual situations that come with renting. Example: a tenant may pay rent late. Having a late fee policy in your lease makes this easy to handle. Another example: a tenant may request repairs. Having a list of reliable handymen helps you solve issues quickly and keep tenants satisfied. Being prepared removes stress and helps you manage your property like a professional. Number 20. Understand how real estate taxes work. Real estate comes with taxes, but it also gives you powerful tax benefits that other investments do not. Example: you can deduct mortgage interest, property taxes, repairs, and management costs. These savings add up. Another example: depreciation allows you to reduce your taxable income even if your property is earning money. Many beginners do not realize how valuable this is. Understanding taxes makes your property far more profitable than it appears on paper. Number 21. Use rent increases slowly and strategically. Raising rent too quickly can push good tenants away, but raising rent too slowly means your income falls behind rising expenses. Example: a small increase each year, like 2% to 3%, keeps your property profitable without shocking tenants. Another example: improving the property before increasing rent creates win-win situations. Tenants feel they receive value and you increase income. Smart rent strategy keeps your property competitive and profitable. Number 22. Build the habit of running the numbers daily. Real estate becomes easier the more you practice analyzing deals. Even if you are not ready to buy, looking at deals daily trains your mind. Example: spend 5 minutes each day calculating cash flow on random listings. You'll start to recognize good deals instantly. Another example: compare rent prices in different neighborhoods so you begin to understand what makes a rental strong or weak. This daily habit builds your confidence and sharpens your investing skills faster than anything else. Number 23. Understand exit strategies before you buy. Every property should have more than one exit strategy. This protects you if the market changes or your life changes. Example: if you cannot rent it profitably, could you sell it for a gain? Another example: could you convert the long-term rental into a short-term rental if the area allows it? Or, if needed, could you refinance and lower your monthly payments? Knowing your exits before buying keeps you safe and flexible. Number 24. Set clear long-term financial targets. Real estate without a goal becomes confusing. You need targets so you know where you are heading. Example: maybe you want 3 rental properties that generate $1,000 per month. Another example: maybe you want to build enough equity in 10 years to pay for your child's college or retire early. Setting targets keeps you focused and helps you make better decisions when choosing properties. Number 25. Study what successful investors do, not what they say. Many people talk about real estate, but very few actually build wealth through it. Focus on studying the actions of proven investors. Example: look at how they choose deals, how they run their numbers, and how they manage their properties. Another example: Pay attention to the common traits they share. Patience, discipline, and long-term thinking show up again and again. Success leaves clues. Following those clues makes your journey easier. Every successful real estate investor started exactly where you are right now, curious, unsure, and wondering if they could really do it. The truth is, you can. You just need the right knowledge, the right strategy, and the courage to take that first step. So now the question is, which real estate strategy are you most excited to try first?